Hello.
Hey everyone, it's Kristen here, and today I am joined with Jaclyn, who is a special member of my team and has worn many different hats from COO to client engagement specialist to helping me pitch in on all kinds of things. But I asked her to jump on today because we wanted to share and have a conversation about what does a client engagement specialist do? Because when she came in, she was like, that year ago, was like, what's, and it's sort of that morph position with all the little things that the owner who's doing sales doesn't have time to do anymore and helping make sure it all runs smoothly. So I'm excited to have Jaclyn here, and we are open to letting you guys ask questions. I would love to know for people watching, how many of you have a salesperson or an intake person, or do you some type of a morph person that kind of handles everything? And are they getting it done, or do they need even more help? Do you need a third person or a second person? That's sort of what a client engagement specialist does, is kind of can move and adjust as you grow. So, Jaclyn, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, as you may recall from way back when I brought you in, I needed help with everything. I needed help organizing the CRM, getting some tags in. I needed help following up and knowing where we were with different people. We had leads coming in and I just couldn't keep up with them. Do you remember that part?
Absolutely. And learning new technology and how to make it most relevant so that we weren't losing track of people where they were in our conditioning process.
Yeah, it was like there were so many balls in the air and I just needed help. And you were like, you saved me. I was like drowning. I was like, help. And so listen, business owners, it's tough to do it all yourself. And sales is one of those parts that you usually hold on to a little bit longer than a lot of other jobs. But at some point you need help. You need somebody to support you. And Jaclyn came in at the right time, was able to really help me. So over the last year, we've had a lot of clients that we've helped them put a client engagement specialist into place. And people keep asking, well, do they do sales? Do they not do sales? Do they just do intake, or do they do other things? So, Jaclyn, how do you answer some of those questions when you get asked?
I tell everybody it's up to them, right? There's parts of the sales process that people really like. Some people really like the sales call and they don't want to lose that touch. So let the back office be handled by your client engagement. Let them take your notes. Let them set your tasks to follow up. Let them send the appointment reminders. And when people forget and they miss the appointment, let them handle the rescheduling. Let them put in all of the tracking data. Where did the people come from? How did they find you? Thanking the referrals that has sent you the messages. There's so many different areas that the client engagement specialist can supplement. If you want to connect with your potential clients and future clients on social media, they can handle taking care of that for you too. You can keep the sales calls and let them do all the other parts of nurturing those leads.
Yeah, I mean, just there were things you were doing that I didn't even realize you were doing. Like, somebody would contact or come in by a referral and you were adding them to the newsletter list and connecting with them on social media. And I was like, oh yeah, and that's the value, everybody, of as you build, as you grow, you document your systems, you create checklists. What should the person do daily, weekly, monthly, right? And you were just naturally jumping in and doing some of that. But eventually we created a system. We created, more clarity with some of that. We now have another new person coming in and helping us. And, it's nice we're refining some of the systems because we're building more automations and things. But this is part of, I think, the biggest takeaway for people. Client engagement specialist. from intake to sales follow-up and onboarding the team, right? A to Z, they help you with anything that needs to be done. It's a position that you can make as small and narrow or as big and wide as you want, right? That's the beauty of it. And that's where I think people that have been buying, checking out, we had some beta testers do the package. They loved it because they had that breadth. They had that different elements. So, Jaclyn, you know me. I'm always saying, if you're not selling, you're not growing, right? Like,
Exactly.
Always got to be signing up new clients or selling services and getting people coming through. Like, marketing does their job, sales needs to do theirs. And that's frankly, there's certain stages of growth where you get stuck and the whole business falters. It gets stuck and you can't move forward until we fix this problem. That's why a client engagement specialist at about 750,000, and then again at about the 1.4 million, these are like two critical points where you need this person to like unplug the dam, right? To get it going again.
And all the different places that your clients can reach out to you. It can be on all your different social media accounts. Do you have clients that text you? Do you have clients that are sending emails to your website? Like, you just can't be in all places at all times.
Yeah.
So having people that can work on your behalf, that know your brand and know your ideal client is really essential to scaling to the next level.
Yeah. And so a lot of this, everybody, is, me, I'm talking about building systems, right? Like, this is my thing. You want to be able to build those systems. You want to be able to delegate, right? These are such important parts, but we need to have the workflows. We need to have the task list, the checklists, the policy saying why, the procedure, all of that. And so that's why we went through and we, really built out this newest system. So I want to take everybody behind the scenes for just a moment and add in and just share a little bit. So this is the beginning of our client engagement specialist systems manual. It comes with this newest package we're doing, and it's got the policies and the procedures. And I just want to show you, we start with the big picture, like the goals of marketing and sales, our mission, our brand, and getting into engaging the customer and the client and really getting to know them. Like you said, Jaclyn, adding in that social media, connecting, developing that rapport, right? Exactly. So we have a bunch of those policies and procedures and examples. And then you get into preconditioning and pre-screening, sales conversation components, the follow-up, the handoff, the checking in with the client, the sales meetings and the metrics, right? This is the beautiful thing, everybody, about building systems, right? Like, when you've got those policies and procedures, you can hand stuff off. You can trust that team so much faster when you have a lot of this stuff built, and you're always making it better. I mean, it keeps evolving as you grow. So, Jaclyn, I want to back up and have us kind of talk for a minute about, trusting the team. Like, you and I have now gotten to know and work together a lot. There's shit you do that I don't even pay attention to because I know you got this, right? Like, it's just that comfort level. But it wasn't always that way. I don't want to say I micromanaged in your first month, but I definitely was like an overbearing mama, letting go of my sales area. Do you remember those days?
Right, because you wanted to trust, especially from when you were getting referrals from your clients that repeatedly buy from you, that their referrals were taken care of. So even though it was a cold lead or a warmer lead because they came in from a referral, you still wanted to trust that they were followed up with, and to be able to see that and where it lived in the follow-up process.
Yeah. So as we went along, I mean, again, that's where the clarity comes from, writing down and from having that component of what's going on, what's happening. I knew, as we built in that rapport and we built out that system, I was able to trust more and more that you just had it, that you had things figured out, that you were dealing with them. But also, frankly, you were pinging me, telling me, hey, you need to follow up with this person. You need to, you need to get this email out. You need to get this done. And so I think the one thing I wanted to kind of share for everybody that they're not sure of is, when you go back to what does a client engagement specialist do? Well, you're right person. I mean, they're helping you with everything and prompting you at times, and sometimes you can delegate to them and stuff like that. So that's a key part to it.
And that's, I think, just to echo that, is that there are things, give them a little bit at a time. Having them follow up with leads on your social media channels, and then you can see how their voice is, and seeing what it is, what templates do they create, how do they echo your voice but put their own spin on it. And then little bits at a time, you're going to realize more value that they can bring to the team, and other opportunities that they come up with of hanging out where your ideal clients are.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big part, is that always.
Did we lose you?
I think I got kicked off of my.
Like, did I hit something?
All of a sudden, it was like I went away, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Take it off.
Fun with technology. Susan saying poor quality connection for Jaclyn. I know a couple times, Jaclyn, your audio sounded a little crackly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just changed from being high definition because I think it was glitching the camera with going live. So I went to regular definition, not high def. So hopefully.
Well, now the audio sounds not so good. Not sure.
Okay.
Okay, you work on that. So I wanted to talk a little bit and share with everybody a couple of things of the importance of really having a key to implementation is having a plan. So when you hire somebody, first you got to attract that right talent. You got to bring in the right kind of person that's organized, that's very, personable and bubbly and able to kind of jump in, but also somebody that is going to be able to like manage the, and keep track of deadlines, projects, where are we with things. So hiring is a big part. Onboarding, you've got to have a plan. What's your onboarding agenda? What are you going to do to bring that about, right? You want to train them up as quickly as we can. That goes with that who shall do what by when, right? My favorite words in procedures. Talk about it all the time, right? But then we want to really hold them accountable, and that's the difference between accountability versus micromanagement, right? You onboard, you train them, and then you hold them accountable. We don't have to micromanage, right? There's scorecards and KPIs, what they're supposed to do. So one of the things, a key to success, everybody, especially if you want to fast track, is don't reinvent this wheel. Like, find what others have used that work well, and then just tweak that last 10% to fit what you need right now. And know that sometimes, like that job description, you don't need that person for all of those elements right now. You might only need them for some of it. So, again, we need to kind of look at the bigger picture, and you always, as a CEO, want to like dive in and make it work for you, and really hold people accountable to what you need them to get done.
And then once they're trained, they let you know how they think they should be analyzed, right? They let you know what data to pull in.
Yeah. So, as once we get them onboarded, and then training them up and refining the process. And the other thing I would say is the way, I as owner do my sales conversation is a little different than the way, maybe a different person who might be especially they're helping with maybe low hanging fruit, somebody that says, I want to jump in right away. I want to be able to like get started right away, and they're able to jump in, and that's great. I don't need to do a full sales call. A client engagement specialist can go ahead and sign that person up or redirect and get them going and moving forward. So I think the beauty of a client engagement specialist is they're engaging. They're using their brain. They're talking to people. They're building out. They're having fun, and they're helping support you as the owner. Eventually, you might have a full-time salesperson, or maybe this person becomes your full-time salesperson. But one of the things we know about businesses is that they grow, they morph, they build, they keep evolving. So that's a part of, really building out and having a robust team that you can trust.
Absolutely. I think that one of the things that people get fearful of is that if they're not on those conversations, then they lose the pulse of what their clients are looking for. Learning to know what other products and services can they do, or how are they servicing it, and that intel. So part of training this person is to let them know what else to be listening for. What are the things that are going on? Because that's where they come from, that creative space. And I think that that's one of the reasons a lot of the business owners want to hold on to those conversations so they stay relevant and they're creating.
Yeah. So for everybody that's, if you're thinking about getting a client engagement specialist, don't reinvent the wheel. Our newest package, the client engagement specialist, is launching live today, full version. We beta tested it, got a bunch of people to give us feedback. It was awesome. And if you have any questions, we're here to help you all make good decisions. Is this what you need right now? Maybe you don't. Maybe you need a marketing assistant because we're not getting enough people in, right? If you don't have enough leads, then we don't need an extra person to like manage the leads. On the other hand, don't spend any more money if you've already got too many leads and we're dropping them, right? Let's instead get a part-time client engagement specialist to support you and make sure that we're using the leads that we have. So anyways, something that we need to think about as you're growing and as you're building and as you're putting in. So one of the things I want to share is we have a cool texting mechanism, and I know the audio has been a little funky with connections and stuff. So you can all text sales to, let's see, here's the number, 844-403-2303. And you can share by text, like, where are you in your business? And you can get a member of my team, myself or Jaclyn or whatnot, or someone else on the team to engage with you and help you understand, like, do you need a marketing assistant? Do we need more leads? Or are we losing the leads that we have and you need somebody to really get, pick up those leads, go follow up with rescheduling, follow up after initial consults, like pick up and run with the people that we have. So it's a cool feature we have with texting. The world, we're on our phones these days, right? And you can get some answers, frankly, to some questions about what you need right now and helping you triage your plan. Because some of you need a client engagement specialist, and frankly, some of you don't. Some of you, once we talk about what a client engagement specialist does and doesn't do, you might say, no, I actually really need somebody else, a marketing assistant, for instance. Those are the very comparable one that often comes up.
And sometimes you need to look at just your sales systems, and having our sales systems manual is an opportunity to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. All of this, all of these words that you're saying don't make sense. And it's not because I can't hear Jaclyn. It's just because they don't make sense.
So for those of you that are saying it's because you can't understand Jaclyn, maybe it's the noise. Maybe it's just that this is all gibberish, that this these words like client engagement specialist. Who is that? Why do I need that person? You know, the client engagement specialist is nurturing and engaging those potential clients, talking to them on social media, making sure they go into your funnels, into your preconditioning sequences. They're following back up. They're making sure people get scheduled. They're doing the sales conversations at some point. You know, prepping them for you to do the sales conversation. They're doing the follow-up and the metrics, all the great stuff that you need. So listen, it's lots of opportunities. I'm going to pop up here one more time for those that maybe didn't see it before. This is our client engagement specialist package, and it's pretty awesome. It's turned out really, really good. It's 49 pages of policies and procedures and examples and scripts. It's in our newest package where we go through goals of marketing and sales and give you some examples on how to outline your mission and your brand and your core values, and getting in there and really talking about how to engage your customer and your clients, how to precondition and pre-screen. And it really trains up this client engagement specialist to do all of this work. So help you and support you. Okay. For those of you that are interested, I'm just going to pop this back up. Go ahead and text sales. In other words, you're interested in what a client engagement specialist does, to that phone number, and we'll engage with you.
Absolutely. And we'll also, in our calls, we can talk about the systems that you have in place and what you are already doing. Sometimes you don't recognize that your intake person is doing this role, or your paralegal is doing this role, or your medical assistant is doing this role. Like that title, some people get caught up in the title, and that role might be attributed to someone else already on your team. So we can talk through any of your confusion on any of the words or any of the role confusion that you may have to be specific to your business.
Awesome. Yeah, we love helping and triaging and making sure people are building their system. So, Jaclyn, I know we always try to keep this to under 24 minutes or so. We're coming up on our time. If you have one final tip to people that are thinking they might need a client engagement specialist, what would you say?
Just ask us, and we will help you figure out what it is. It's you don't know what you don't know, and let's talk about it.
Awesome. Okay, everybody. Well, there you have it. If you have questions, you want to engage and get some help triaging, just text us, and we're happy to work with you. And don't fear, you will grow, but we don't want you to stagnate. You got to, if you're not selling, you're not growing. So let's make sure those leads get captured and use a client engagement specialist to get you there. And with that, I will sign off. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.